Hello again, my name is Ernest. Many thanks for joining us. Now, 5 people have been remanded into prison custody while the Odikro of Edubin Subia is also on the run after the murder of a 28-year-old man over his alleged involvement in a robbery incident. Husseini Suleiman was suspected to be part of the group of armed robbers that launched series of robberies at 4 stations between Abuja and Swedro in the Ashanti region. The chief who suspected the man to be one of the robbers is alleged to have incited the youth of the community to lynch him. Police confirmed the case to JoyNews' Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin and say this is the 3rd time a suspect has been lynched in that community.
At 6:17 p.m. on December 27, 2020, some of the workers here had gone to observe Maghrib prayer. Few of the remaining employees were engaged in different activities. But suddenly, 3 gunmen stormed the fuel station. 2 of them ran to the fuel attendants, while the other gave a warning shot. That was how the CCTV camera captured them. They robbed the fuel station. A moment later, Odikro of Edubensu Bia Nana Asibe Boachi II arrived with his RAV4 car, perhaps to refuel. One of the robbers rushed to him, but the chief had to move immediately as the robber fired at one end of the car. No one was killed, but money was taken away. Few minutes after the robbery, Husseini Suleiman arrived with his motorbike to refuel. But there was no one at the pump. He walked to where the attendants were being held hostage to draw their attention to his need for service. CCTV footage shows Husseini was being told about the robbery incident. According to police, the Odikro, who was lucky enough to escape from the robbery, went home and informed the locals. Eyewitnesses say he picked his weapon as the youth of Edubensu Bia blocked the road in expectation the robbers would use that stretch. Husseini had left the fuel station towards Edubensu Bia. It was about 6:30 p.m. The teeming youth suspected he was one of the robbers, dragged him and lynched him. An eyewitness account says the Odikro accused Husseini as one who shot him at the fuel station.
We even requested we send man to a fuel station to find out whether he was part of the robbers, but he resisted and insisted that he will not allow anyone to send the man anywhere because he is a thief and that he shot him at the fuel station. It is the chief and his people who used guns to hit him and beat him. The deceased is my nephew. He was riding a motorbike when they stopped him. He told them his uncle asked him to bring money to him. One of them took my number, called on phone and asked if I actually sent somebody. I told him yes. He also asked what the message was. I told him it was money. He further asked what the amount was and I quoted it. Then I overheard him on the phone speaking to the people around him that the man was not a thief. So I asked him what was the problem, but he said I should meet them at the Kodia police station. We immediately moved our car towards there. We contacted them again and they told us to come to Abuja rather. We got there and called, but nobody picked the calls.
An amount of 4,800 cedis and the motorbike Husseini was riding were nowhere to be found.
4,800. Scano says, "Motor, I know what to so." And it's can also
Some of the boys who lynched him took part of the money, but those who were protecting him retrieved the motorbike and 2,850 cedis. Both are now with the police.
Police station. Say 2,850 any motor police for some Cordier police station.
The case was reported to the Cordier District Police Command. DSP Jeremiah Alale is a crime officer.
They have decided to take the law into their own hands. And even a chief should know better. Put yourself into their shoes and see how it feels. It's good to leave an armed robber to go scot-free than to kill an innocent person like this boy.
5 suspects who allegedly lynched Fuseni are in prison remand. They will reappear at the Cordier District Court on 1st February 2021. But the Odikro and others are on the run. Police say they would continue to search for them to bring justice to the matter. A report by Mohammed Nuruddin.
From crime, let me take you to the labor front now. The Senior Staff Association of the universities in Ghana have announced a strike action nationwide over outstanding Tier 2 pensions arrears of its retired members. The association is also pointing to failure by the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission to engage them on conditions of service and delay in the award of market premium for their action. Now, they have vowed to remain at home until their conditions are addressed. Manuel Cranton was at the University of Ghana, where TAIU members are defying orders from their national leadership to join their colleagues in the Senior Staff Association in the strike action. Here's his report.
Chants by members of the Senior Staff Association of Universities of Ghana as they declared an indefinite strike across the country on Thursday, January 21, 2021. This comes 8 days after the group served notice of its intended industrial action over the failure of government, the employer, to address concerns over their conditions of service. Zakaria Mohammed is the national chairman of the association.
Further to our letter dated 13 January 2021, served on the Executive Secretary of the National Labour Commission, declaring our intention to embark on an industrial action. I wish on behalf of the National Executive Council to announce the withdrawal of services by all members of the Senior Staff Association, Universities of Ghana, with immediate effect. Now, this has become necessary in view of the following unresolved concerns. 1. Non-payment of our Tier 2 pension arrears. 2. Delay in the award of market premium and non-basic allowance. 3. Failure by Fair Wages and Salary Commission to engage us on our conditions of service. Ladies and gentlemen, for your immediate information and for further probably avoidance of doubt, members are required to lay down their tools until further notice.
This means all middle-level staff of public universities across the country, including accountants, administration staff, storekeepers, and other non-teaching senior members of the university are absent from their posts indefinitely. On the first day of the strike, scores of students at the University of Ghana were stranded at the Student Accounts Office as they waited to be attended to. In fact, it's double jeopardy at the University of Ghana as local members of the Teachers and Educational Workers Union, TAIU, are defying orders of the national leadership to suspend their strike. Students are having to take up extra roles of TAIU members to keep the university running. Eko is a final-year engineering student who has for the past week been manning the Porter's Lodge at the Sabah Hall.
There have been others before me, and then I'm joining in. I help with the registration, the freshers. When they come, I help them register their names after they've done the manual registration. And then I collect the keys of persons who are submitting them, and then I give the keys of the others who have already submitted. This is actually my final year, and though my classes are virtual, I'll need to be concentrating. I would still have to have my eyes on my phone as long as the lectures are online and then they are actually active. I have to focus on everything that they are teaching me, and then every time that I try to do that, there's someone here coming to collect a key, submitting a key, and that means I would have to move away from my phone and go attend to the person. And actually, this takes a portion of what I'm supposed to study from me.
But the effect of these industrial actions go beyond just handing out and collecting keys. Michael Ashali is a student journalist with campus-based Radio UNREST.
Because of the modular system, some people, select few students, have the opportunity to go to have physical classes. So particularly for one that happened this week, a Russian class, the level 100s were supposed to have an interaction between themselves and some of their teaching assistants, but they were locked out of the place because some of the people who are supposed to man the place had the keys and they didn't want to come around because they are on strike. And these are TEU members. To talk about sanitation on campus generally, a majority of the work when it comes to sanitation is being done by TEU members. Go to some of the lecture halls, the bins are full to the brim, and even on the floor, some of the rubbish on the floor. So it's been quite a difficult thing. I must say that go to washrooms within some of these places, also looking very unkempt.
And let's bring you more on this story. My colleague Manuel Cranton joins us live on Zoom with an update. Manuel, you were on campus today. What has changed since the reports you brought us last night?
Well, in that report, you saw that at the account office, some of the students were attended to because it was just day one of the Senior Staff Association's strike. But today on campus, the account office was actually locked. In fact, all the other offices which are directly related or have, staff who work under the Senior Staff Association were locked, and so they did not appear. In fact, you're having, that aside the Senior Staff Association, the local TEU, which is the Teachers and Educational Workers Union, is also defying the national orders by its national association to suspend its strike. And so in the University of Ghana, you have two different strikes going on, one from the Senior Staff Association and the other from the TEU. So I spoke to some of the students in the university who are actually looking forward to be attended to at the accounts office, and they expressed their frustration to me. I think we can listen to them.
Well, Manuel, we'll listen to them shortly, but then yesterday when you spoke to the leader of the Senior Staff Association, he indicated that they've been called into some negotiation. Do we have an update on that?
No, in fact, he mentioned that they have written to the National Labour Commission in October 2020. The Senior Staff Association hinted that it was going to embark on this particular strike, which it has actually embarked on. They went ahead to go on that strike, and then the National Labour Commission secured an injunction from the High Court to bar them from proceeding on that, strike, because there were going to be subsequent, engagement between themselves and the National Labour Commission, and then of course the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, which is charged with the mandate of dealing with their conditions of service. That engagement didn't happen. And so about a week ago, the senior staffers issued a statement indicating that if the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, together with the National Labour Commission, did not engage them, they were going to, lay down their tools, as they have since yesterday. And so that meeting has not happened, and we are looking forward to that engagement happening. We're yet to hear from the National Labour Commission, which secured that injunction in 2020. We've been trying to reach them, have not been successful just yet.
He also mentioned that the university administration had called them into a meeting. Did that happen as well?
Well, my sources at the university tell me that there's not been an official meeting between university management, i.e. the Human Resource Department of the university, and then the members, or the striking members, just yet. Some unofficial talks are currently ongoing to essentially get some people that you would refer to as essential service providers. So in the security at the university's health facilities, the University of Ghana Hospital, and then the clinic, because school has resumed. So these are the very critical staff members who they are hoping to leave behind. But beyond that, there's not been any official engagement between university management and then the striking workers.
Very well, Manuel Kranti, thank you very much for bringing us update on the two major strikes happening at the University of Ghana. First, the strike intensified by TEU, and the other by the Senior Staff Association. We also understand that at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, the TEU members, again there, have defied the orders of the national leadership to call off the strike. Instead, they have joined the Senior Staff Association in their strike action on that campus. We'll bring you updates in our subsequent bulletins. Away from labor issues to COVID-19, two students of the Xavier Minor Seminary have tested positive for COVID-19 and are receiving treatment at the Upper West Regional Hospital's Treatment Center. 34 other students have been quarantined in one of the dormitories of the school. Rector of the seminary, Reverend Father Pamphilo Tengan, urged parents who have their wards in there not to panic as the situation is under control. Correspondent Rafiq Salam reports.
Authorities at the Xavier Minor Seminary stood motionless and in pensive mood. Their thoughts and prayers are with two of their students who have been reported to have contracted COVID-19 disease and recuperating at the Upper West Regional Hospital's Treatment Center. Rector of the Xavier Minor Seminary, Reverend Father Pamphilo Tengan, recounted what transpired.
It is true that two students have been confirmed with COVID-19 in the seminary. One of them complained about ill health and was sent down on Monday in the night. He was given treatment and returned to the school with the priest that sent him down. But then in the evening of Tuesday, a team came from the Municipal Health Directorate that they had tested our student and he was positive. And they were coming to send him to the isolation center.
Still on COVID and schools, pupils of Asokore Mampong RC Primary in the Ashanti region are challenged in adhering to social distancing protocols to beat COVID-19 due to their poor classroom infrastructure. The deteriorated shelter exposes the children to the hazard of crowding in the classrooms. Daniel Jima reports on the conditions there.
2 years ago, a shelter was raised to reduce congestion at Asokore Mampong RC Primary A. This shelter has classrooms, 7 classes 5, 3 and 2. Each class is made up of more than 30 pupils studying in this temporary structure. Portions of the roofing sheets supporting the old wooden walls were ripped off within the long COVID-19 school break. To escape extreme weather, the children get crowded in the middle of the class. Others have to endure extreme heat during afternoon classes. The situation in the school impedes adherence to COVID-19 safety protocols. Deputy Director of the Ghana Education Service, Anthony Boateng, spoke about the state of such school structures.
You know, and as much as we need dedicated teachers and the children to be able to learn, they also need to create a very good working environment for the teachers and the children to teach and learn. There is a need for everybody to get involved. Government cannot do it alone. Individuals cannot do it alone. We need the support and cooperation of everybody.
Across this compound sits another structure for the Asokore Mampong RC Primary B. Conditions here are similar to what persists at the Primary A. Ashanti Regional Minister Simon Osei-Mensah says an action will have to be taken to deal with the plight of the students.
When you identify such problems, we sit down and talk. This is not the last meeting. This is the beginning. At the end of the day, I'll meet with the Regional Director of Ghana Education Service, who has been very, very cooperative in all these things. And then we identify the problems in general. I don't normally like you solving problems in bits. So we go and sit down. She will compile all the needed infrastructure in the basic schools. And then we will write a letter to Ministry of Education for solution.
The Efijase Methodist School in the Seche East District of Ashanti had similar challenges. But the fortunes of these students have changed after a family reconstructed a 4-unit classroom block for the school. Thomas Nyakodankwa speaks for the family.
The church showed us a dilapidated building, which was not, it looked like a poultry farm actually when we came and saw it. So we decided that, okay, we will pull it and build this for the kids in the name of our mother. But along the line, in the planning stage, our senior brother passed away, and subsequent another brother also passed away. So we combined the three and said we will dedicate this to their memory. So it's in memory of our mother, Ofuruwa, and our two brothers, I.K. Dankwa and Same Dankwa, who actually was a chief, a sub-chief.
From Kumasi for Joy News, Nana Aljima reporting.
You're watching News Today with me, and the news just coming in from Parliament. The Speaker, Alban Badbin, has finally settled on who is majority leader in the House. Remember that there have been some confusion as to whether or not Osai Chairman Sabonzu can be addressed as the majority leader. Yesterday and the day before in the proceedings, we had the Speaker address him as majority leader. Earlier, there had been concerns as to whether or not he is the leader of the majority group or the majority caucus. Let's go live to Parliament now and speak to correspondent Joseph Opoku-Gatbo for more on this. Joseph, bring us up to speed and in much detail what the Speaker has been saying on this issue of how to address the leaders in the House.
And so the NPP's whip, Frank Anotombre, drew the Speaker's attention. What he said was the wrong reference. The leader on the NPP side repeatedly as something else than the majority leader. And in his words, there was an orchestrated attempt by some MPs on the NDC side, including Okujetua Blakwa and our Hassan Sudini, to prevent a situation where Mr. Osei is not addressed as is expected. And so he invited the Speaker to pass his judgment on what exactly the situation is in terms of what who should be called. And so the Speaker reiterated what he had said the first time that the House met, that the NPP side platform constitutes the majority group, and based on that, he went on to make the point where the leader on that side, when you refer to NPP platform, the leader of that group, can be called the majority leader. And then he went on to make the point that Haruna Idrisu, who is the MP for Tamale South, can then be referred to as the minority leader. Just that before he made that point, he reiterated what he had said earlier, that he doesn't see a case of either side referring to themselves as a caucus. He defines what a caucus is to be a group of people who are like-minded. And so he said there can be regional caucuses, there can be a Christian caucus in Parliament, but for the purpose of this particular 8th Parliament, for him, there is nothing like a majority caucus in terms of what the NPP plus the Formula wants to be called, but they should be the majority group with the leader, the majority leader, and the NDC side can then be the minority group with the leader called the minority leader, in this case, Haruna.
So what was the reaction of the now minority leader, as I can freely address him, Haruna Idrisu, and his side?
He responded with little or no emotion. He didn't smile, he didn't frown. He just sat down and paid attention to his desk, even as the Speaker read out those specific details. On the side of the NPP, there was a roar of applause directed at the Speaker for that final declaration that their leader can be referred to as the majority leader in Parliament.
Joseph, what else has been happening in Parliament?
A number of other things. First of all, there was a suggestion by the majority leader, as you can call him now, that when it comes to approval of various ministerial appointees by the President, the House has to hold off and wait for the reconstitution of the appointment committee based on a new standing orders that the House is hoping to approve soon, before then the vetting can actually go ahead. There's been an objection to that from the NDC side. It's Deputy Whip Ibrahim Ahmed says that the House is eager to approve the President's ministers, and so they will not delay at all, and they will going to see a situation where the appointment committee, as it's constituted now, goes ahead to do the vetting and approval. Eventually, Speaker Obanbabu rules that the appointment committee, as it exists now, even before the approval of the standing order, stands very much with very firm powers to vet the ministers and do the necessary approval. So eventually, that matter was laid to rest. Not just that, there's been suggestions from a number of MPs demanding that various institutions, including the economic and organized crime officials, are hauled before Parliament to respond to questions having to do with the stolen baby syndicate. Yeah. And as well, there's been suggestions that officials from the Noguchi Memorial Institute appear to respond to questions having to do with the fake COVID-19 test rumors that's actually making rounds. The House is dealing with all of that. Any moment from now, there will be a statement on the passing away of former President Terry John Rawlings, after which the House will deal with the motion having to do with the payment of fees by tertiary level students. That's Mahama Yaga is expected to do.
A lot happening in Parliament. Joseph, thank you very much for bringing us up to speed. And of course, in our subsequent bulletins, once this develops, once the various issues develop, we'll bring you all the updates that you need to know. Let's return to education now. Enrollment at the Inshayasu DA Basic School has more than doubled since the completion of the handover of a new classroom block. Now, MTN Ghana Foundation handed over a fully furnished 6-classroom block and a teacher's bungalow to the school after a JoyNews agenda report. Ohimen Teria, whose report caught the attention of the foundation, has this update. My name is Adasmini. You're watching News Today here on the JoyNews channel. We're taking a break. When we return, we'll bring you business. Economists are warning that the second wave of COVID-19, if not contained, could destabilize the economy and erode the marginal gains that have been made. Daryl Kwal has details after this break.
Hi there, time for business. My name is Daryl Kwal. The second wave of COVID-19 could destabilize the economy and erode recent marginal gains if not contained well. That's a warning from economist Eric Osei-Sibe. Active COVID-19 cases have seen a sudden surge in recent weeks, reaching over 2,000 earlier this week, with the death toll hitting new levels. Now, speaking on PM Express Business Edition, Professor Eric Osei-Sibe said the situation calls for some drastic measures.
Everything coming to a halt, our economic, the value chain of production actually curtailed, the businesses folded up, people were, sacked from their work, or, work did not go on, so many people have to lose their job, they have to lose their income. Government revenue suffered. Government has to ramp up its expenditure on social spending, on life support, a stimulus package for businesses and others. That really took us away from our fiscal targets, likely to end in the year at about 11.9%. In fact, in some other circles, it has been projected that for the year 2020, our fiscal deficit will be around 12.4 thereabout, and that is huge. It also explains why debt stock is also increasing, and currently we are around about 74% of GDP. And so if we are going to experience another height in this pandemic, you could imagine the devastating effect that would have. Even indirectly, what is happening in the developed countries like US, like Europe, which are our key development partners and export partners. If it continues as the way it is going, it is also going to have effect on our economy, because once their domestic economy ground to a halt and they are unable to produce, maintain the supply chain and the production sources and the consumption fall, definitely we're going to have impact, because it's also going to lead to our exports falling, and our projected growth will not be realized for the year 2021.
Now, the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly has indicated plans to return to running a shift system of trading in the Central Business District. The arrangement is to prevent overcrowding in the market following the upsurge of COVID-19 in parts of the country. But the traders are not enthused about the plan. Mona Lisa Frimpong has more in this report.
Kejitia, Central Markets and Dr. Mensah are locations bustling with trading activities. These places are regarded as a hotspot for the transmission of the COVID-19. The Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly plans to reduce the rate of physical contact between traders and customers with the reintroduction of a shift system in the markets. The arrangement is to ensure adherence to the COVID-19 protocols. But the traders lament implementing a shift system in the market will be to their disadvantage. They rather want the police to ensure compliance with the COVID-19 protocols. What if my customer fails to come to the market on my days off? I can't lose my customers. Let's ensure strict adherence to the protocols instead. Most of us are mothers. How can we provide for our family? I suggest Veronica buckets should be placed at vantage points in the market.
Veronica buckets,
I am a mother caring for my children. As you can see, we are already practicing social distancing. Drive away the hawkers instead and leave those of us with stalls.
That report was filed by Mona Lisa Frimpong. We've got more coming up at the top of the hour on the marketplace. Up next, sports.
Good afternoon. This is a sports segment on Joy News today with me, Muftar Nabila Ablai. On November 2, Kotoko confirmed the signing of the younger brother of Sule Ali Muntari, Muniru Sule, as one of their 9 signings for the Ghana Premier League season. Today, just an hour ago, the Ghana Premier League giants have announced that they have terminated the contract of the midfielder barely 3 months after joining the club. Muniru has joined the Porcupines, or who joined the Porcupines on a free transfer ahead of the 2020-21 Ghana Premier League season, has not had enough playing time. And in their last game against Wafa, he was substituted. Head coach of the team had said that he did not perform to his best. And today, the club says they are no longer together. Kotoko signed the younger brother of former Ghana international Sule Muntari on a 2-year contract. Muniru, who started his career with Ashanti Akim Missiles and Liberty Professionals, returned to the Ghana Premier League after 8 years in Europe. Since joining the Porcupine Warriors, Muniru has not played as many matches as possible. In Kotoko's match day 10 of the Ghana Premier League in Sogakope, Muniru was substituted. Head coach of the team, Johnson Smith, was questioned why he took off the midfielder. In his response, he claimed the 28-year-old was not performing at his best. Rumors had claimed that Muniru Sule was unhappy with a comment made by his coach. It is unclear what transpired behind the scenes, but Kotoko, in a statement signed by acting communication director of the club, David Obinyago, said, "We wish to announce to our lovely supporters and the general public that Asante Kotoko and Muniru Sule have mutually terminated their contract." The statement further added that, and I quote, "It is significant to note that this termination does not come with any compensation both now and in the near future. The statement added that since the younger of the Sule brothers joined the Porcupine Warriors, he received no salary. It is important to state as a matter of fact that Muniru Sule, since joining the club, was never paid any salary nor sign-on fee. The statement thanked Muniru for his services and wished him well. We wish to extend our best wishes to Muniru Sule in his future endeavor. Asante Kotoko currently sit third on the league log of the Ghana Premier League after winning their outstanding Match Week 7 encounter against Ebusua Dwarfs. The record Ghana Premier League champions will face Aduana Stars on Match Week 11 of the Ghana Premier League. From Kumasi Asante Kotoko, let's do something on the Ghana League Clubs Association. Yesterday, they went to Congress and re-elected Chairman Kujo Fiano to steer the affairs of the association for the next 4 years. He has called on members to accept the welfare body of the clubs as their own. According to him, members appear to be interested in the activities of the association at the times there are elections, and he's calling on them to come and accept the association as on their own. There's more in the following report. 71 delegates voted for Mr. Fiano, handing him the mandate to lead the association for the next 4 years. Prior to the elections, many had claimed that GHALCA under his tutelage had collapsed. However, Fiano says the message he sent across, which included the challenges of his administration, notably number 12 and the COVID-19 pandemic, was bought by delegates.
Good policy, good message. I concentrated on issues without allowing my attention to be drawn to other things. We have been in football for decades, and we know the message that is acceptable to football people. When you are dealing with football people, you should weigh the message that you carry to them. And I weighed my message to them, and overwhelmingly they accepted my message. And then the program that we all have for GHALCA. They also appreciated, especially the challenges that we faced in our first tenure. It was not by exaggeration to say that, things happen, and Ghana football virtually was on its knees. Anas came and gone, then COVID is here with us. So it wasn't a roller coaster type of administration. So the football people understood our message and decided to endorse us.
GHALCA, founded in the early 1990s, used to be extremely vibrant. Kujo Fiano feels that members of the association have deserted it and has asked that they accept the welfare body of the clubs as their own.
I wouldn't stand here and promise heavens, because the whole world is not in normal times. But we need to find a way. We need to find a way out of it to make our members comfortable. So, COVID or no COVID, football must thrive, and that's what we're going to do. That is what should be on the agenda. So a lot of work will be done, but then my challenge now is for GHALCA members to accept the association as their own. We should not wait until elections before we attach so much importance to the association.
Fiano is serving for a second term, and he will be partnered by John Ansah, who won the position to become a vice president after polling 66 votes, beating incumbent Alex Akume, who held on to the position for the last 4 years. And that's all time will permit us here for sports on Joy News today. Coming up next is Showbiz.
Good afternoon, welcome to Showbiz here on Joy News today. Now, former Minister for Business Development Ibrahim Awal Mohammed has been reshuffled in the second term of President Akufo-Addo. He is set to head the Tourism, Arts and Culture Ministry. Mr. Awal Mohammed takes over from his successor, Mrs. Barbara Oting Jesse, who doubled up as a member of Parliament, but lost her seat in the just ended December elections. The names of the new minister-designate have been submitted to Parliament pending vetting and approval, according to a statement from the presidency. Away from that, Grammy nominee Rocky Dawuni is out with a new project, Voice of Bonbon, and he tells Joy News he seeks to create awareness on going back to our traditional way of living. He spoke on the AM show.
New album is called Voice of Bumbo.
Voice of Bumbo.
And it's a traditional album. It's an album that embraces so many different styles.
Okay.
In order for me to tell the story of that, you know, here I am using contemporary, you know, musical styles, you know, cultural styles, you know, using rhythms from Ghana rhythms, from the Wulome style of music, using, you know, a new chrome style to high life, traditional high life style, and mixing it all in a contemporary way to also let us focus on the richness of who we are and the richness of our culture.
Okay.
Cultural riches of medicine, food, and all of those things that we've relinquished, but it's also the source of nutrition for us. You know, my thing is just embracing all of that and utilizing that as, you know, our front line. You know, neem tree. You know, I always talk about, you know, people using neem tree as, especially in the system, the issue that we're in right now. You know, people should embrace it as a regular thing in terms of boosting your immune system.